No way he just said this. As a former MVP NFL quarterback, just gave one of the most outlandish takes, and this has Eagles fans on social media going insane over it. We'll break down what he said and more on another edition of Eagles Digest. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Eagles Digest to give you guys a daily dose of Eagles content every day of the week. We're getting ready for this big matchup against the Detroit Lions on Sunday Night Football. Eagles, Lions, this is for the NFC 1 seed possibly, as we're just in this middle of the season, and it's just going to be even harder for the Philadelphia Eagles to get to that 1 seed, and they're going to have to perform at a better level, especially on offense, and I'll get right into that in just a little bit. But before we get into this video, we're currently at 1,010 subscribers on this channel, so if you're tuning into this video and you want to learn more about the Philadelphia Eagles, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles team right now, moving forward, what you want to see change, what you want to stay consistent. Let me know your thoughts, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified of all of our videos. But getting right into this video as we are talking about Cam Newton. Cam Newton, a former MVP quarterback with the Carolina Panthers. He is now a part-time analyst on First Take. He has his own YouTube channel, and he definitely said some outlandish things about this Philadelphia Eagles team today on First Take, and this was just something that caught my eye, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little more about it. And this is what he said regarding the Philadelphia Eagles, saying the Philadelphia Eagles are a walking, ticking time bomb of dysfunction, Cam Newton said on First Take. And this is something that is definitely unfair to this Philadelphia Eagles team, because when you're looking at this Eagles team from a whole, not just their offense, not just by a play caller, not just by this or that, the Philadelphia Eagles are two-time Super Bowl champions. They have been to the Super Bowl 2 out of the 3 years, and they have been able to consistently win in this league, whether it be by dominating opponents and looking like the best team in football, or it's by winning a game last week 10-7 in freezing conditions in the frozen tundra in Lambeau Field. So it doesn't really matter what way the Eagles win. It's just always seems like the Eagles are going to end up winning. And I definitely think that this is very unfair, especially to the defense, because the Philadelphia Eagles defense showed out against the Green Bay Packers, had one of their best performances since Super Bowl 59 of last season. So to have them seem as dysfunction, that is just so outlandish that it just does not make sense. Because you may think like, oh, it's not as bad as a take because they did have dysfunction in 2023. Well, 2023's defense was horrible. It was one of the worst defenses I've ever seen. They did not have a consistent coordinator. They had Sean Desai, who wasn't good. Then they brought in Matt Patricia. He took over defensive coordinator duties. He wasn't good. The defense was hearing two different voices in their head at one time. That was dysfunction. For the Philadelphia Eagles team, they have a defensive coordinator who has been successful in this league for decades and has just won a Super Bowl with guys who are still on their rookie deal. So the dysfunction part does not make sense at all. Doesn't make sense at one bit. And I think when you're looking at what Cam Newton is saying, I definitely think he's meaning towards the offense. He's meaning towards the A.J. Brown situation. A.J. Brown is one guy. Can we just get that out of our heads? A.J. Brown is one guy on this team. It doesn't mean that Saquon Barkley, DeVonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, and all this Eagles offense speak for A.J. Brown. It's A.J. Brown not getting enough volume and not getting enough targets in his game. I completely understand that. But the fact that you're going to say that dysfunction is what's going on in this Eagles team, you don't know anything about a locker room, even though you played with a team in the Carolina Panthers for many years. You don't know anything about the Eagles locker room. So I think that's just something that's very outlandish, just out of pocket. And from a guy who's played the quarterback position and knows what it's been like to be at the top and to not really be at the top, that's crazy coming from Cam Newton and everything like that. But, just after I got that really off my chest in regards to Cam Newton there, just wanted to talk a little bit about this Eagles offense and defense and where they rank at this point. When you're looking at AJ Brown and his Philadelphia Eagles team, yes, he has to get the ball. He has to get more involved in this offense. We completely understand that. But we also know that the Eagles are able to be successful without him being involved. It doesn't mean that it's all AJ Brown or nothing. The Eagles have many more weapons. DeVonta Smith, we've seen Jahan Dotson get involved, Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley. So I definitely understand that you want to get involved and you want to really put the team on your back, but that's just not going to happen in Philadelphia. You have too many weapons. You have it's one ball and it's going to go to different people in this Eagles offense. So I think that's for Kevin Patullo. He's just got to get better with his play calling. He's got to make sure that he can get better off of this bye week, go with more of the under center looks, no more shotgun, just kind of get more consistent with the under center looks for Jalen Hurts and this play action, because I think just having better design runs for Saquon Barkley, not just going up the middle, and having the offensive line healthy for this Eagles versus Lions matchup is going to be huge, because Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson are expected to play against the Detroit Lions. So that's going to be a huge addition for the Philadelphia Eagles team. So, really no excuses for this Eagles and Lions team for Kevin Patullo. And, when we're looking at this Eagles offensive rankings so far, this is in correspondence to the Fox Sports rankings for the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles, saying that the total offense is 23rd in the league, passing offense is 25th, rushing offense is 21st, scoring offense is 12th, red zone offense is 1st, and third down offense is 28th. When you look at most of these categories, they're not looking good. And that's to be expected, because the Eagles offense has looked lackadaisical at times. They've looked very Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes they come out there and they blow the roof off the place in the first half and then look like a shell of themselves in the second half. And then it's vice versa another day. Or it's like they have this big game against the New York Giants, go in the bye week, go against Green Bay and forget how to play football. So I think it's just something where you're coming out the bye week, you're getting the rust off of you. It's a cold, frozen tundra game in Lambeau Field. It's just a lot of different things were going on. The defense has really stepped up that game in the cold. So, give the benefit of the doubt this week. But when we're going up against the Detroit Lions, you cannot score 10 points against the Detroit Lions, because you will not win the game. So I think for this Eagles offense, you got to rely on Saquon Barkley, got to rely on Jalen Hurts, spread the ball around, and really just perform the way that we're expecting you to perform. 12th in the scoring offense. Red zone offense is number 1. So when you get to the red zone, you know that you're going to be efficient. It's just getting there and getting down the field is what the Eagles are going to have to really focus in on. And then when we're looking at the defense, 2025 Eagles defense rankings, according to Fox Sports, total defense is at 18th, passing defense 14th, rushing defense 19th, scoring defense 10th, red zone defense 4th, and third down defense is 26th. So when we're looking at all these numbers, looks better than the offense rankings, no doubt. But when we're looking at this, the numbers are kind of a little lower than you may be expecting, especially coming off a big game against the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles defense in the first part of the season, especially against the Rams, against the Denver Broncos, the New York Giants, when they weren't looking good in that 2-game losing streak, that kind of skewed their defensive numbers. Since then, Vikings, Giants, and Packers, they have looked outstanding. So they're kind of getting back to middle of the pack here. I expect if they're going to be able to play at that level consistently throughout the season, they'll be up there in the top 10 of defenses. But when you're looking at the red zone, I think that's something that we're looking at. Red zone defense is being in the red zone is consistent for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're able to stop teams in the red zone, and when they're on offense, they're able to execute at a high level. So the red zone, just get to the red zone. If you're able to get a good return by the special teams again in the red zone, you're doing 75% of the work. You just get there and you get a touchdown. If it was only that easy in the game of football. But I definitely think that this is something with the Philadelphia Eagles right now. We just need to get used to getting the ball to AJ Brown, getting the ball to DeVonta Smith, just being able to be consistent on offense and putting up good drives. I think what we're expecting out of this game against Detroit is to score fast, get up on the Detroit Lions and try to take them out of this game. And then you can control it with Saquon Barkley and this Eagles running game. But I definitely think that this is going to be a back and forth game, one possession. I can't see this being a blowout on either side. Definitely think that it's going to be coming down to the last possession and see who is going to pull it out in this big NFC conference matchup that could determine the 1 seed at the end of the season. But that's going to do it for another edition of Eagles Digest. Wanted to raise the question to you guys regarding the Philadelphia Eagles and Cam Newton's comments. Wanted to reach this out to you. Do you agree with Cam Newton's comments about the Eagles being in dysfunction? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I definitely think it's outlandish. I think it's ridiculous to think that this Eagles team in general is in dysfunction. I think that's definitely behind us in 2023. But what do you guys think regarding all of those comments from Cam Newton? Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We're going to give you so much coverage on the Eagles and Lions game, have a live stream on Sunday. So tune in for that and subscribe down below. Let's go Birds and fly Eagles fly.